Hello and welcome. You're watching a special broadcast of People's Court today. I'm Padmaja Joshi, and in the People's Court is someone who makes no bones about exactly what he thinks, not just on issues of spirituality, but also on issues that plague the country. Every now and then he tries to reach out to people on those issues, and not without his own share of controversies. It is Sadhguru Unplugged today in the court. And the first question is naturally, Sadhguru, why? Why can't you stay away from controversy?
First, let me ask the first question. Are you the advocate here, or are you the judge?
I am the people's prosecutor today in the People's
So not the
Court.
judge, so it's okay.
I am not the judge, I'm just the people's prosecutor. So let me start by asking you, first of all, because you're doing Youth and Truth, your tour across the country. You've just come from Varanasi today. FTII, strangely, where you're supposed to be on the 19th, was cancelled at the last minute, and the students' body said that just the fact that you were called there showed that the Institute of the Students' concerns.
See, social media speaks, all right? Don't go by that. It's an institution of just 135 people, all right? And about 50 people are on some protest about their own issues. So when we looked at this, and the students' union is supposed to meet and come to a decision about this, they couldn't make up their mind. Then we said one day is going waste, so we fixed up something else. Then late in the night they said, no, we're going to meet at 10 o'clock, after that we'll decide. But by then it was too late for us, we had committed elsewhere. So we will go back and do that.
And why I ask you, Sadhguru, because also one student leader was quoted as saying, we do not want Sadhguru in FTII, which stands for free speech, because what he represents is hate speech.
Oh, really? So if it represents free speech, that means anybody can speak, all right? So what kind of free speech is that? That only you can speak and I cannot speak? That's not free speech for me. See, these are all not leaders, somebody is speaking, all right. In social media, anybody can say anything. The institute invited us, and the student body also, we had talks with them. They were okay, they said we will meet, final meeting we'll have at 10 o'clock. But we had to decide something on that day for the next day. So we took a call, okay, you make up your mind, we'll come back some other time. We will go back some other time and do that.
Okay, why I ask you this is because it ties into the larger debate of where a lot of institutions, and the Congress president recently said, in fact just 2 days ago said, that institutions are being taken in either overtly or covertly into the RSS ideology. And your meeting or going to colleges is also being seen as a part of that project.
See, I have never been associated with any kind of political movement in my spiritual activity. As a student, I've been involved, largely with the left movement never with the right wing anything.
You're a communist?
Even now I am.
Really?
Yes, I am very communist.
So you would say you adhere more to the JNU school of thought than…
No.
The ABVP school of thought?
Communism is not JNU, all right? Communism is about equality and equal distribution of everything, that essentially it is basically… I started reading I read my Marx when I was just 12, 13, okay? I read Das Kapital when I was 13 years of age. By 14, I was all ready to join some armed struggle in Andhra Pradesh. Those were the days of Charu Majumdar and Somelu, and Che had just passed, and we wanted to go and fight in Bolivia, a group of us. Some of us joined, actually. A couple of my friends joined completely. They went into it, things happened, some of them were killed. I almost went in, but I stepped back at that moment because the professor who was kind of coaching us to join up, his son was my classmate too. So we were all in the same evening, ideological stuff. It is not that they had to pep me up, I was already fired up totally. But when it came to actually joining, we were just supposed to leave in the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Then I think he's also going with me. And when I ask, it's all been planned that he will not go, he's going to the university. We are all going to the jungles to fight. So it kind of… I stepped back and then I started looking at the organization the way it was. I didn't like what was happening in the organization. What was supposed to be everybody same, there was so much hierarchy and problems. So I stepped back. And now also I'm doing my own brand of communism. See, I'm even wearing red.
Well then, Lal Salam to you.
Now, the thing is, people have misunderstood communism as a way of fighting everybody in the universe. No, communism means whether you're capable or not capable, in a society, you must still live well. That's the idea. But Marx mainly focused only on economics. Now we are doing a more holistic communism. If you come to the ashram, if you come to the yoga center, all the people who are living there, nobody by what they do, it's only by what they need.
So you're a
Including
communist
myself.
Organization, your interpretation.
Very much.
Are you
All
an urban
spirit-
Naxal then?
All spiritual organizations are communist if it's a proper spiritual process, because spiritual process is about inclusiveness, not about sectarianism. Right now, we are talking about communism as if it's an ideology against everybody. No, communism is an ideology for everybody, not against anybody.
The example you stated is interesting because we are again right in the middle of the urban Naxal debate. Maybe the armed revolution would have been quashed, but now we have it transported into our cities.
It's always been in our cities. Only somebody who's very naive who thinks it's not been in the cities. I'm telling you, when we were 13, 14 years of age, we were studying in school, not in university, we were in high school. At that time, we were constantly getting talks from professors and some teachers actively and openly in the classrooms in Mysore city, okay? And in Mysore University, it was a very active process. I participated in many of the rallies and sticking posters here and there and doing all these things in the nights. It was, the local thing was called Bandaya, which means revolution. Revolution is a very romantic thing when you're young. We come from the generation of Che Guevara, Maybe for you he's passed. But for us, he just died at that time and we were all fired. Not only in India, we want to go to Bolivia and fight.
No, but Sadhguru, why is that a problem? People who have been arrested, they are lawyers, journalists, activists, and even if they are talking of revolution, there is no proof that they actually took up arms or got anyone to take up arms.
See,
Sticking posters was not illegal.
I'm
Still
telling
isn't.
you, I stuck only posters. Two of my friends joined. One became a prominent leader and unfortunately, he was killed 6 years ago in Mysore, near Mysore. So, we stick posters not because we like glue and paper. We stick posters because we believe what is written on the poster. At least I did. I don't know if others do. Whatever's were written on the poster about the armed struggle, I 100% believed when I stuck the posters, all right? But now what I want to say is, the time for armed struggle is over in the world, not just in India, it's over. When we had the musket loaders, we could fight somebody. Today, weapons are all automatic. If we start a fight, both will end, all right? If we start a real fight, nobody is going to succeed. All that's going to happen is people… Young people will die for nothing. So now, I'm talking about 70s and early 80s, when we thought there is no hope for this country unless you shake it with an armed revolution. But we have passed the stage, now we have come to a place where we are on the threshold of a most miraculous thing that can happen in the world, in the sense. See, for example, in 50 years' time, China moved 1 billion people from poverty to economic well-being. But they did it the hard way. Bullets and bullets and bullets, okay? They're a very strong way of doing things, they did. But now we are on the threshold of a much more miraculous thing to happen. Today, we are on a threshold where if we do the right things in the next 10, 15 years' time, if our economic process, if we conduct it right, which I believe we will, 500 million people, 500 to 600 million people will move from one level of living to another through a democratic process which has never ever happened in the history of humanity. That such a large mass of people moved from one level to another in one generation, that's never happened. but we are just on the threshold of that. I don't think we should disturb that. About people being arrested, I don't know what's the process of law. I am not privy to what they have done or not done. I think Supreme Court has taken the right stance that they are restricted at home till something is proved. So if it is proved, law will take its course. If it is not…
The miraculous change you speak about, how will it come about when nothing seems to have changed in the last 4 years as compared to the 7 decades before that? Where is the change?
Just 2 days ago, the United Nations report has come, the WHO report has come, which says 270 million people have moved out of poverty from 2006 to 2016. The problem right now with us, particularly in the journalism, and because everything is politically vitiated, we are only thinking if you say something 3 years, something happened in 3 years, oh, so you're doing Modi Sarkar. If I say something else, they'll say, oh, you're congressman. From 2006 to 16, fortunately both the governments have been there in this period, 270 million people have come out of poverty. The number of child deaths that were happening before 5 years of age, the infant mortality rate, from 1.4 million deaths, it's come down to 0.9. These are significant numbers. United Nations is saying nowhere else on the planet such things have happened except in India. India is a place to watch because nowhere else such things have happened. So why are we going on spinning a negative spin all the time? Economy is growing at 8%, every agency in the world is saying India is on the right track, but we want to prove we are on the wrong track. What for?
But on the other hand, you have a falling rupee and petrol today in Mumbai crossed 90 rupees per litre. And a lot of people say that when you point out the positives, you said that you are accused often of, supporting one party or the other.
Really?
That's why these allegations come about.
No.
Why, for example, is there no critique of the government?
See, I'll tell you, I'm writing a very critical letter to the government about the river linking right now, okay? I am not a political activist to be constantly critiquing about the government. If you ask me a question, I will say something about it, otherwise every day to day I'm not thinking about politics, I have other things to do. So, why am I not doing a critique about the government? I am not a journalist who is writing in a magazine or a newspaper for or against some government. It is just that my thing is, right now if we do not strengthen the positive dimensions of this country, we want to pick on our wounds and scratch them endlessly. Unfortunate, because still 500 million people have not eaten properly. Please, let's keep our nonsense aside for some time and do what's needed. Economic development, economic development, economic development, that's all we should be talking about.
But
on the way, so many things will derail us. This is a complex nation, there is religion, there is caste, there is creed, there is all kinds of stuff. Every kind of thing tries to draw it in a different direction. But still, economy is growing nearly 8%, that's what everybody is saying. I'm not an economist, let me not take a call on that. But the agencies, international agencies are saying that. IMF chief is saying, Christian Lagarde is a person of enormous integrity. She'll not say something to support any country.
But Sadhguru, we would love to talk about it. The point is that the political discourse is not around issues of job creation or where our economy is going. Why is the political discourse only, and many say patriotism is the last refuge of the scoundrel, every time there is a problem, we hear rhetoric about Pakistan, we hear rhetoric about outsiders, we hear rhetoric about, you are in danger because of such and such threat, or worse, we hear communal rhetoric. Why?
No.
How is this going to strengthen our country or our youth for that matter?
I'm not trying to speak for anybody. My concern is, we are sitting on the threshold of a tremendous possibility. Will we cross the threshold or will we sit on the threshold and talk ourselves to death? This is my question.
Given the current scenario, you think across the threshold?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Whatever may be the things going on in Indian journalism, leave that.
Not journalism, in the country.
No, not in the country, only in Delhi.
Journalists are whipping boys.
I'm telling you.
We're not responsible for what politicians say.
No. If you travel in the rest of the country, you will not see any of the things that normally people are talking about and screaming about in the TV studios. What they're screaming about, we are looking, sitting in South India, looking at it and wondering what is this all about? Because such things are not happening anywhere around. I am not somebody who is isolated. Every day I'm traveling, I'm with all sorts of people, I'm in the villages, I'm in small towns. I don't see such divide or such conflict anywhere.
But Sadhguru, the conflict is not created in TV studios. It is created when you have a member of the ruling party saying…
Conflict is magnified.
We will make the temple even if the Supreme Court rules against it. That's where the conflict is created.
See, the thing is, did the Prime Minister say that?
No, but a member of the ruling party did.
See, you must understand, in a ruling party or in opposition party for that matter, there are thousands and thousands of people, lakhs of people. And anybody who wants attention today in the world, this is all they have to do. They'll say, I'll build Ram temple. If I say tomorrow, full you'll all be on me for the next 10 days.
Why?
So because you must ask that question, why? Because we are just looking for what's going wrong, what's going wrong. Yes, wrong things must be pointed out, but solutions are more important than endlessly pointing the same problem. We know what is the problem in certain people's minds. We know what is the problem in the society. We know what is the problem in the Ram temple. Everybody agreed, we will treat it as just a property dispute. Supreme Court said we will treat it just as a property dispute, which aggravates lots of people's emotions, but still, they said they will treat it that way, let them treat it that way. When it's settled, if it has to be built, it'll be built, otherwise no, okay? But you cannot ignore people's emotions. People who are on the ground, they will gauge that barometer and they will talk from those terms, but that's not relevant. That is not the stance of any particular government. Now if I speak like this, you think I'm pitching for a government. I'm not pitching for a government. I am pitching for stability in the country. I am saying, you don't like the government, damn it, in 2019? Why are you damning it all the 5 years? That's all I'm saying. Whoever gets elected in 2019, next 5 years support them if you are interested in the nation and the well-being of the nation. I am not saying this government or that government, but this should be the spirit of democracy. When we elect somebody, next 5 years, we support them and give them an opportunity to create something. If they don't do anything and they just bum around, then we will dump them, all right? But we don't let them work, all the time we harass them and then say, you have not done your work.
But that's because the Supreme Court, no less, has observed that dissent is the safety valve of democracy.
What is wrong with dissent? See, dissent is different.
Asking questions of the government is dissent.
Questions are perfectly fine, nobody is stopping the question. You're trying to stop life on the street. People are trying to stop life on the street, you're not letting me go where I have to go. People are declaring bands. Band, hartal, all this stuff is pre-independence era technology of Mahatma Gandhi. He used it effectively against an occupying force. Today you call for closing down your own nation, what's wrong with you, I'm asking? What's wrong with you? You want to close down your own nation. For what? So you have no right to stopping me from going to my work or my pleasure or my hospital or my whatever, isn't it? But you're calling for a bandh. Who the hell are you to call for a bandh in this nation? This must stop. First, Supreme Court should take this thing, anybody who calls for a bandh, disqualify them from politics, because nobody can call for a bandh. Why are you trying to stop my life?
Totally with you on that. Is the line between politics and religion irretrievably blurred now? You've got godmen who are being appointed ministers of state. You've got a former Mahant who's the chief minister of one of India's largest states. Is that line non-existent now?
See, one thing I would like to correct this. I've said this before. I've never seen a god man in my life. I've seen men, I've seen goddamn men. Where did you see a god man? Where did you see a god man? It's a completely media-coined word. It must be taken back and never used again, because who is a god man? Who is inventing these words? Just to simply depreciate everything about this culture? There are no god men in this culture. We have been reverential towards certain men because of the contributions they've made to our life. Otherwise, no. And in this country, we are reverential towards everything. We do this, people do this if they go into the temple. If they do this, if they see a man, woman, child, donkey, cow, tree, elephant, whatever we see, we do this.
So why should a Mahant be a Minister of State in Madhya Pradesh? Yogendra Mahant, Narmadanand Maharaj,
Oh, I thought you were talking
Hariharanand
about
Maharaj.
Uttar Pradesh.
That too. But these are the people who were appointed Ministers of State in Madhya Pradesh. So it cuts across boundaries of state. And this is active mixing of the religion and state. I can't say church and state, but religion and state.
See, as far as our constitution goes, there is a clear line between your personal religion and the state. If some compromises are made, that needs to be addressed. But at the same time, just now also I was asked by somebody, why is a yogi becoming a political leader, he's become a chief minister, why is another yogi starting a business somewhere, and why are you going around the world and doing what you're doing? So in your opinion, what is a yogi supposed to do? Always sit cross-legged in a cave? See, this is the image that you got from calendar images, or you watch those television serials. Yogis have always been active in the society. It's just that they're flexible, whatever is needed in those times, they did that. I must tell you this. I was at the economic forum and one professor from Harvard University comes and says, "Oh, you're that amazing tree planter." I said, "No, I am not a tree planter." He said, "No, you planted millions of trees." I said, "Well, I did it, but I'm not a tree planter." I asked, "What do you do then?" I said, "I make people flower." Now, I am planting trees because the damn trees are not there. If people had not removed all the trees, why would I go planting trees? I am just doing what is relevant for today. And it's always been so, yogis did what is relevant for that day.
But they didn't enter politics.
No.
Active politics.
I'll tell you, Parashuram was a king, he was a yogi also, all right? Active, very active politics.
But a ruler and a politician are different.
No, I'm saying, see, a yogi means, have you given any special rights to him? A yogi pays taxes. I need a license to drive on the road. I need to buy a ticket to fly in a plane, all right? Everything that responsibilities of being a citizen is upon me. You have not given me relief from anything. I also carry a Aadhaar card. I got a number, okay? All this. But now you're saying I have no rights in this country. What for? I have all the responsibilities, but I have no rights. I can't stand for an election. I'm not going to, ever. That's a different matter. But some yogi wants to stand for an election, it's his right. When a student can stand for an election, when a businessman can stand for an election, when a journalist can stand for an election, well, many journalists have stood for election and they've failed, the yogi has succeeded. Is success the only problem, I'm asking? Both with one yogi who is doing business, another yogi who is in politics, are we complaining about the success or about his being a yogi?
The mixing of religion and politics.
Why is it religion?
Because you stand for a religion. Your power is derived from your religion.
Is that so?
Isn't it?
Do you think so?
It is.
You think my access to people is because of a religious identity? You think so?
I don't know, I'm asking you.
No, I'm saying all these people, maybe not many of them, but many of us, including me, any part of the world I go, people respond. If it was religious, would they respond? Only in India I'm religious. Everywhere in the world, people see me as a yogi who is relevant to everybody's life. Only in Indian politics, everybody thinks I am belonging to a certain religion. Because in India, it's described like that. When certain things happened in Tamil Nadu, an official came for a certain inquiry. I said, "See, I've never identified myself with any religion. Why are you putting me in some religious category?" He says, "Your name is Hindu. What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to change my name into something else? Should I change my name into something which doesn't represent anything in this culture, only then I will be beyond my religious identity?" I have never identified myself with any religion. In fact, this is not a culture which was identified with religion because this has always been a land of seekers, not of believers. But Right now you're being pushed to your corner that you have to identify with something. In your Aadhaar card or not in Aadhaar card, in other things they mention. I said, don't mention this, I've never written, anywhere have I ever written I'm a Hindu or I'm a this or that. Because the entire yogic system is about your humanity, not about your religious identity.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you would love to.